My mother went to prison, and my dad, I guess, ended up stopped being a dad.
An incident happened where my stepdad ended up choking me.
I was living at foster homes, some group homes.
One night that he was drinking and he walked into the living room, and that's where I was sleeping. And he started touching my feet and started moving his hands a little bit further up, which was a little bit scary.
But when I was 5 years old, I was taken off the streets by the police from my dad.
Stuff like that, stuff that I didn't want to be around. To avoid all that, I left.
And a lot of my friends, when I first told them, yeah, I'm on the Youth on Their Own program, they're like, what do you mean? You don't look like a homeless person. And I said, you know, I might not look like a homeless person because I'm not in rags, but I don't have a stable home, I don't have a stable family, and I do have a lot of problems.
Well, the obvious ones, like we don't stink and we're not, we don't wear raggedy clothes for the most part. I mean, we're just like everybody else. We're trying to succeed. We're not ready to just give up on life yet.
People misunderstand that since they're homeless, they don't think they could actually go get an education or get a job. And I believe that people just don't think people on their own could actually do something with their lives.
They look at me not that they judge me, they just look at me different. And I don't want them to feel sorry for me.
Driving down I-19 on the freeway, and I remember my mom getting a phone call that somebody had passed away, and she wasn't paying attention, and I remember her looking up, and there was a car in front of us and a motorcycle on the side of us, and I just remember her slamming on the brakes and turning into the median, and the car felt like it was tipping over, and I just blacked out after that. I was later at the hospital, and they told me that my mom had passed away within an hour of the car accident. I had to move in with my father, and mine and his relationship wasn't good at all. We were constantly fighting, and I just had too much stress on my hands. I couldn't go to school, I couldn't focus. It was just really hard for me, so I moved in with a neighbor.
And then after about 3 weeks there, we were put into foster care with a lady, and I was in foster care for 14 years before I was finally adopted. And then me and the lady that adopted me had our differences, and we fought a lot. She took me out of her home and put me in a different foster home after she adopted me. And then they were abusing alcohol around me, driving under the influence with me in the car. So I reported them to CPS. It was me and my grandfather for a while trying to struggle and to make it, and I decided to go search for my dad. He had never been in my life, and I figured it was time. What if I never tried? So I went back to Charleston on my own. I picked all my stuff up in my car, and was a major disappointment. And so my grandpa had actually moved to Ohio. So I came back to Tucson, and I stayed with friends for a while until he came back the beginning of my senior year. And everything was great. He was coming back to Tucson to, watch me graduate. And December 10th, I moved in with him. And the following day, he suffered a massive heart attack, and he passed away. So my world was kind of shaken. I lost my grandfather, my dad, my mom, and my best friend all in once. And
kind of found myself, searching for what I was going to do.
So being homeless or on your own doesn't limit you from being like everybody else. It's all a matter of what you choose to do.
And I applied, and I never knew that there were people out there who are willing to help you. I've always been really independent, and I've always struggled to do it on my own.
Freshman year, I just wanted to get out and just work at McDonald's for a job. And I just wanted to just leave high school, but ever since getting on my own, that's what motivated me to stay in school.
Your education is everything. If you don't have education, then you don't have anything. And even at your hardest times, when people tell you that you can't do it, you really can. It's all in your head, and it's all up to you. It's not up to them. You just have to prove them wrong.
Then I was able to move out, and I wasn't afraid of being homeless because I knew there was going to be help out there.
Through my school counselor, she realized that I wasn't living with my parents, and so she asked me, what are my living situations, and told me that the Youth on Their Own, they could help people out like me.
I heard about Yodo through an old teacher of mine who no longer teaches at my school, but when I first started going back to school, he knew what kind of conditions I was living in and how I was trying to get back on my feet.
I had never heard about Yodo until I started my beginning of my senior semester at Sabino High School.
The people that's there, they're there to help, and the stuff that they provide for young teens, homeless, it's one of the great things here in Tucson.
Them, and without their support, without their guidance, without my liaison, I wouldn't be where I am today.
I'm proud to say that I got admitted to U of A, so I'll be in this fall.
Probably not in college. Probably just at McDonald's, probably. Because if it wasn't for Yodo, I probably wouldn't be in school.
That there's people out there who are struggling and are trying, and behind their smiles and behind, how you perceive them on the outside, there's a whole nother story inside.